Honor I do. Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Minky.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jenny Brush, Executive Director of the County Arts Commission. I want to thank you so much for coming out to this fabulous exhibition. I want to take an opportunity to thank Supervisor Lavanino for his support of this, and I mainly want to take the time to acknowledge John Hood for all of the energy he put into realizing this evening tonight and the whole exhibition. So let's all give John an amazing round of applause. And I want to turn this over now to John. I just want to let you know we are videotaping the discussion tonight, and it will be available on YouTube or through a link on our website.
Okay. Thanks, Jenny. Can everybody hear me okay? I want to say that it's an amazing event. I'm all bruised, not because I skated like these amazing skaters, but because I've been asking people to pinch me all day. It really is incredible. My two passions are art and skating. That's defined me. And so to have both of them here and in the community that I live in, it's pretty special. And I've told the guys that, and that's why I think they're here, is to be a part of a community that doesn't usually get this kind of art and culture. So I'll have the guys talk a lot about, what the show's about and their art specifically. But what I wanted to say real briefly is that how this came about is really going to a memorial for a guy that a lot of us know. I didn't know him as well as these guys, but he was an acquaintance of mine, Jay Adams. I was at a memorial for him, a paddle out in Venice, over a year ago. Is that right? Mm-hmm. But I paddled out, and most of these guys were there or were nearby, and I saw Pat from a distance, and I said, "Oh my gosh, is that Pat Noho?" And he said, "John Hood." And can we say decades that we hadn't seen each other? And this guy I really looked up to. Literally watched him drop in some amazing situations and bowls, and it was just kind of like in awe of watching him skate. And I knew his brother very well, and so we got to talking out in the water about what he has been doing for 30 years, what I've been doing. And we're artists, and we're skaters from way back. And the Marina Skate Park, which I got a little button here, was my life. I mean, most of these people I watched
Pipeline.
there. I watched them skate at the Marina Skate Park. And not so much with them at all, but I was in the little stands, watching them kind of as a rat watching, people skate. And so to be with them today, watching them do what they did, it was incredible today. So that's how it started. We talked about art, and he talked about Love and Guts. And I said, would you ever consider coming up to the Central Coast to put on this amazing show that they've been doing for 10 years, Love and Guts? And he pondered that. He really listened, and Pat's a great listener, and then it just went from there. And then he spread the word and got these guys on board, and I can't believe they're still here, but they're sitting here with names that are extremely important to my life and others here. So I'll let him talk about how it materialized. I feel like I'm just the surrogate, He's the parent of this Love and Guts, and he can really talk about really what this show's about. Okay, Pat?
Well, just briefly, John and I talked about the show, as you mentioned, and as we were putting it together, I thought, how can we make this show different and better than what we've done in the past? And since they had the new skate park over in San Luis Obispo, and we've done a Q&A before, but this is the first time where we've really had like the core group together. There's always someone missing or there's someone traveling, and so we were able to pull it off and have an amazing skate session, as some of you seen today. And as a whole, Love and Guts is about the culture of skateboarding, the culture of art within skateboarding. As Tony Converse said today, it's about, like guys like Olson, it's their lives are kind of like art and the way they live it. And so it's kind of the whole experience. And that's what we're here to share and display. And we did the first part of it by skating, which I think is a really creative, innovative thing in itself. And there's a whole history behind that. And the way skating evolved, it was through creative people. And these creative people are here amongst us today. And this is their other mediums that they work in. So, I hope to have some good questions, and don't be afraid to ask any question, whether it's about skating, the history of skating, about these guys' lives, about their art, of course. They're always fun, and whatever you guys want to throw at us, please do.
And I might add with that Pat asked me to invite other skater artists from the area. So Santa Barbara County has an amazing array of artists. So I want you to know that we have Peggy Oki over here from Carpinteria, and she does amazing work. So thrilled to have her. We have Glenn Carlin, we have Patrick Towson, and we have Jack. I slaughter his last name. Say it for us. Yes, yes. And then Inga Guzait is here. Inga is right here with the hat, with the skateboard decks out here. So they're here as guests of Love and Guts, and we couldn't be more thrilled to have you guys. Thank you. Guys, whatever you want to throw at them.
Because we're taping it, if you do want to ask a question, we just ask if you come up here so we can get it recorded. Thank you.
Nice.
Well,
Put you on the spot.
so I want to know, this goes to the 80s guys, because Salva and I represent the 70s, and we didn't make the channel. How does it feel to be a little younger and a little bit more vivacious and make the channel today? And we didn't.
He's an actor too.
I'm a politician.
We're catching up to you, Steve.
Yes, you are, Sminky.
I know, it's funny. We're not far behind. I looked up to Steve Olson, and he seemed so much older than me. I was 10, 11 years old, just aspiring to be like them, and he seemed like such an adult. But now that I'm looking at the age difference, I mean, you're 54,
Yeah.
right?
Let's go. He's funny too, this guy next to me. All right.
I mean, I'm only 6 years younger than him, but it
it's-
seemed like he was like an adult, and so to think that,
The word he's looking for is the mature difference between the two.
yeah,
And
you
it's
could say
weird
that for
that-
sure.
I'm kidding. Yeah, no, when we were skating back in the 70s, late 70s and early 80s, all these guys, even Salva, I'm the oldest one up here, I'm the grandpa or whatever, the dinosaur. But like I saw Stevie Caballero and I was like, whoa, this kid is like, he was small.
1978.
Yeah, and doing things like, wow, this is scary. This is not cool for me to see this happen, because now we're going to have to step up our game. And I guess maybe we didn't, but we kind of figured out how marketing worked back then. But it was amazing. And then Hosoi, and then Lance Mountain, and Pat Noho. Pat Noho is basically the same age, but was in their generation. And the generation between skateboarding back then was a year or 6 months.
But
And
those
then it
years,
would
6
switch.
months were like almost like dog years. Or like in a sense, like I'm just saying when
I
we
get
first
it.
skated those first years, it's almost like, I mean, you're only like 2 and 3 years old, younger, if even that, right? I mean, you guys are like a year and a half, but just that separation seemed like a long, long, long time. Is what I'm getting at.
Josue is the baby of the group. He's the Grom.
I'll be 36 coming up October.
All right.
So you guys have no questions? You have to have some questions. Come on.
Sick, let's eat.
It's always like the floodgates will open.
All stars.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Would you please tell us the origin of Love and Guts, when it started, when the exhibition started, and where it has traveled, and kind of how the different incarnations of the show?
Love and Guts started in January of 2005. We had shown together, Olson and Lance and I. You know, we were artists and skaters, and we were just showing, and then we came up with the name, and there was a ASR, and so we attached ourselves to that event in some weird way, and we had a show, and it was amazing. Just hundreds of people turned out. He had just gotten out of prison, and meaning, so you know what I mean. There was just a lot of like buzz, and then we were like, wow, this is something. So we kept going, and then I think we did Andy Kessler's thing in New York, and it just kept going from there. We did about 2 or 3 shows a year, and then Oakley liked what we were doing, and then they picked up the show, and then it became international, and we started going to Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, all through Europe, and Prague, and then you know we've since parted, but you know the show has a lot of momentum and
A lot of guts.
a lot of
A lot
good
of
branding,
guts.
I guess, and so it's here we are, doing just, and it thanks to Steve, it's more popular than ever.
Well, thank you for giving us your work to show. It's really important.
Thanks
that
for having
we have
us.
the exposure here in North County.
Yeah, well, thank you for
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
us.
You're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
It's awesome to be here.
I guess what I want to ask is, I know about your skating, but how did you all start as artists? How did you, and I don't know whether you want to each one tell me, I would love to hear it from that.
Well, I'll go
direction.
first in the sense where I was in school, and I've always been very creative, and I've always would draw all the time. And in kindergarten, actually in first grade, I drew a Snoopy. 'Cause I used to copy stuff like comic strips, and then it got made into a school program for the school, which I still have to this day. It's kind of awesome. And then I used to draw so much, and that's all I would do. And then I had saved all my drawings since I was probably like 6 years old, all the way till I was probably when I got my truck, so I was probably 15. And then my brother Mickey got super mad at me for some stupid reason one day. And I
There's
was
a
out
time
skating.
limit, though, on these questions and
I know, but
answers,
then
just so you know.
he
We're
ripped
in
up all
like
my
kindergarten.
That's what I'm getting. He
Wow.
ripped all my drawings up. And when he ripped my drawings up, I kind of stopped drawing for a little bit, and I started doing other things, and it kind of went into a lull. But then after that, I just started, shooting photos a lot, making my shadow boxes and my pull prints and this kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
next guy.
We'll come back to Steve Olson here pretty soon. Or do you want to do it?
Hey, this is my wife right here on FaceTime.
Hi, Jen.
Love you, babe. I'll call you back. Call you back.
Hi, Jen.
We're on a panel. We're being filmed, and you're on the interview. So, and it's my turn to answer a question. She was on fire today. Well, I can't wait to get burnt. Okay. So, I'll call you guys back. Love you.
So how did you start in art?
My dad was, he grew up in Hawaii and got into doing art in school. He did all the posters, and then he wanted to go to art school. He moved to California, married my mom in the 61, and he went to art school. He went to Chenard and went to Berkeley, graduated master's degree in fine art. And so I grew up in an art home. I grew up going to art galleries like this, the little kid taking all the food off the plates and hanging out underneath, causing trouble with all the other kids, but like my kids are probably right now. And really it was just infused in me. I just grew up with this, and I incorporated that into my skateboarding. I think that's why, I had the type of style of fashion I had, the music I had. I think the friends that I had. I think that's another part of art that really is important, who you hang out with. And my father kind of taught me a lot about that and about what's original, what's authentic, what's, not true. And so I owe a lot to my father. And he's still alive. He's on Hawaii. He does art. He plays music. He plays blues. And I'm just so, indebted to his, giving me that wisdom. But I grew fond of art during my adult years after skateboarding took this kind of dip, and I started I was getting high, hanging out, doing drugs, and I was doing art, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And at this point, this is in the 90s, all of the 90s, this is why I went to prison. Because I got stuck sitting there trying to create and trying to reinvent myself. But when you're high on drugs, you're just sitting there doodling, and I wanted to be creative, but yet I got stuck in a rut, and then I landed in prison. But when I got out, I think that's when I got to be able to be released, to be able to do art, to be free, to do what you see out here today, and to just feel, I guess, honest about my art and really want to learn about art. And my dad, I call him all the time and I ask him, all the, questions that I have to get more, I guess, knowledgeable of art and what is, the foundations of art. So it's just not me just, all right, my dad's an artist, so I'm an artist. No, I want to have my own, interests, and I want to have my own as well. But I'm heavily influenced by his style, his art. I love it, and so obviously what you love, you're going to emulate. Kind of like I love the way, these guys skate, and so I wanted to be like them. Same thing with art. I think that's what I'm all about. Yeah, there you go. My dad made that pendant. Oh, really? He sculpts, he does, jewelry. He's done a lot of things, but heavily influenced by my father.
I'd like to just add a little to that. Christian and I have known each other for a very long time, since you were like 9 and I was 12, maybe.
38 years we've known each
Yeah,
other. Wow.
and so I spent a lot of time with Christian and hanging out with him and his father. And his father really is an amazing artist, incredible painter, abstract, conceptual art. And as far as the whole love and guts go, it's like the lifestyle of surfing and skateboarding. I mean, he really kind of symbolized that for all of us when we were kids. Mm-hmm. And he kind of mentored me in art. I asked him many has and he spent a lot of time with me. And I can't say enough about how incredible of an artist he is. He really is has some great stuff.
He managed the Marina Del Rey skate park, and so we grew up there. So we actually just hung out with him every day, and it was like he was more like a brother, I would say. And so for us, it was just like having Yoda or somebody like super wise there to give us like wisdom whenever we needed a little, hey, you better check up right now because you need to stay hip and stay, cool, because he would always keep us down to earth. I think there was something special. His name is Ivan Hosoi, by the way.
My father, same thing.
Okay.
He was British, came here, and he worked at Macy's. He did window displays and stuff, and he was kind of eccentric. He collected military stuff, and so we had a museum in our house since we were kids, just mannequins and helmets, and he'd always have us do little projects, silk screening projects and model building and things like that. So I just believe in the early days of skateboarding, because it wasn't anything yet, right. It attracted creative people because it wasn't attracted to the people that were more athletic or more stronger or faster. Once they saw something done, they just copied it. It was really lend itself to guys who had to develop them themselves. So they were developing it in a look, they're developing it in drawing their own graphics and giving it their own style. And all these guys in contests, they had to come up with something new that hadn't been seen before to make a statement. So I think in the early days, it drew creative people into it, and now that it's a little bit more set of what it is, it attracts all sorts of people. And I think that's one of the reasons we do this, is just to let other people know that skateboarding is a lot more than just beating the next guy. Yeah. You definitely need to do that. But there's a part to it that is a creative outlet. It's kind of a battle of ideas. It's I don't know what I'm talking about.
I just like to say that as a person, I think everybody needs to have a creative outlet, and different people choose different ways to do that. And obviously I chose skateboarding because a lot of people look at skateboarding as an art form, a way to express yourself, and it extends to music. That's another way that a human can express themselves, and art. So it all kind of goes hand in hand, and it's all in need, and I have many needs. So I've started bands, I've done artwork, I've expressed myself through skating. It's just a human need that we have, and I think that fear has a lot to do with holding that in. There's a lot of people, and I believe sitting in this room, that are very artistic, but they will never find out because they're too afraid to express themselves. So that's why alcohol is so popular, because it helps you get out of that shell. And then we'll see everybody in Alcoholics Anonymous, because they're all drinking to try to express themselves. So it's kind of like a catch-22. But if you can overcome and be courageous, which is the part of the love and guts part, it takes a lot of courage to be a skateboarder. It takes a lot of courage to stand on a stage and play an instrument. It takes a lot of courage to draw something and show it in front of everybody and see if they like it or not. So that's where the guts part, I believe, comes from, the name. And I believe the love part comes from our love to express it, our love to express ourselves, and that's how we do it. So, I've had to learn everything on my own, and I've had people teach me, and, I used to doodle when I was a little kid, and I drew stick figures, 5, 6 years old. I was terrible at drawing, but I continued doing it on my own, and then school has art programs all the time, and then you go to middle school and then high school. You take art classes because it's easy to get an A in it, unless the teacher was being nice. I don't know. But what really got me to be here today is Love and Guts, because I saw what these guys were doing at the trade show, and I said, hey, I want to participate, because I haven't been in that social crowd yet. I've been in the music crowd, skating crowd, but I haven't been in the art scene, and I want to know what it's about, and I want to hang out with these guys and do art and be creative in that sense. So I made the decision that I'm going to be a Love and Guts artist and just do it, and it's a learning process. I'm still learning myself. You'll see what I've done, but it's still a work in process. You can never master it. And it's the same with skating. You can't master skating.
Yeah, I agree.
So, like I said, all you guys, what's that? Yeah, so, everyone in this room is an artist. You're a musician. You can skate. You can do anything you want. You just have to have a positive outlook and believe in yourself, and you can do it. I don't believe that we were just created just to be one type of person, but just get out of your shell and try it, and don't be afraid for people not liking, because you're not going to please everybody, you know? It's impossible. So, but, you know, I've drawn things that I think are totally terrible, and then people love them. So I'm my worst critic, you know, and I'm the worst judge of what I think is good. And then I've gone to art places where I see things, you know, selling for $10,000, $20,000. I go, that's terrible. You know what I mean? So when I look at that kind of stuff, I go, like, you know, I'm just going to have fun with art. Just do what I like, and if people like it, they like it.
So at
That's
that
my
note,
take.
we invite everyone to stand up and dance, express themselves, don't be scared.
It's Steve number one's turn.
Oh, wow, we haven't.
I had an older brother. Well, I have an older brother, but he was the cat that could do whatever it was artistically. He would make films. He would make cartoons. He could draw, and he could beat me up if I didn't participate and be his assistant, like flipping 5,000 photographs as he's doing stop frame animation on a Super 8. And I'm like, yo, I need to go outside and play on my skateboard, or go out there and it's on, and you're not going to be walking really for the next couple of days. But my brother was the guy, and I liked skateboarding and surfing, and I liked all sports. So that's how I got into art, because it was just in my face because of my older brother. And my older brother's a really great dude. And now he's like a ballet dancer, and he has a master's, and he's still a great airbrusher, and he can paint, and he can draw, he can do whatever. And so then I became skateboarding and music and everything, dancing, whatever it was. I just enjoyed it, and I didn't have that kind of, I did have mad fear, but I just pretend I don't. No, like, it's such a joke, but come on, like, you know, I'm really nervous right now, but I'm going to pretend I'm not. But I got into it because of my brother. And to this day, he's like, you don't even know what you're doing. Your art's horrible. And I'm sure there's some cats up here that would agree. But it's subjective, and it's like Cab was saying, you know, someone might like it and some might not, and that's cool. That's what I like about it. And I also was agreeing with Stevie about, I find that everybody's an artist because it is subjective. And it doesn't matter what is art. That question is like, what is life? Like, come on, I don't know, but I'm going to try to pretend I know that I'm not nervous right now and my voice is cracking, but I'm going to breathe. And I'm not even into meditation. No, but I'm telling you, I agree with that. Everyone should do whatever it is within creative outlet, and it kind of makes you feel good, and not to be so crucial and judge yourself. I played in music. I played sing. That's crazy, singing in front of you're like,
Yeah,
that's retarded. Like, whoa, what? You really think you can sing? And then all of a sudden you hear Billie Holiday, and you're like, yeah, you should probably never do that again. But I just like to make things, and I have a lot of it to do with surfing and skateboarding, because it introduced me to graphics. The older guys, the airbrushers. Rick Griffin was this airbrusher artist, and a lot of dudes in that whole world. George Green of a surfboard shaper, and my brother was a surfboard shaper, and I owe it all to my brother Bucky. I one day may give him a couple bucks for getting me into it. But yeah, and I really think that if you dig it and you love it and you have the guts to go for it, you don't really take no for an answer. And you push through and divide and conquer your fears, and then move forward. And if it happens, great. If you're doing it for whatever that process of like payment for all the wrong reasons, you might be kind of upset and sad and depressed. But if you're not, you can be stoked and just dig it and go for it and have a great time. And that's the path I choose.
Thank you all so much.
Jesus, that was the longest answer ever. Sorry.
Good period. Good period.
Hey, hey.
Get away from
So
me.
the last question
Take the chair.
kind of touched a lot on then and there, and I guess my question is a little bit more about here and now, because you guys have been doing this forever, and I feel like I'm trying to catch up, and it's really easy to like just lose or quit or give up, but what keeps you guys going?
Ego.
I know,
Not
every
really.
one of us in our own minds has like this drive why we do what we do, you know. And as far as skating goes, I mean, if you would have asked us when we were, I mean, if you would have asked me when I was 18 if I would have been skating now as a 52-year-old, I would have said no, you know, because I probably didn't think in those days, you know. And at one point in my life, I'm all like, that's all I'm ever going to be known for is a skateboarder. I have to seriously say, I thought that for some stupid time, but at the same time,
What's wrong with that?
well, I mean, I kind of conclude that there's nothing wrong with this. It's actually pretty dang awesome because I wouldn't be here with these guys. I mean, these guys we're all such good friends, and we've gone through all these trials and tribulations together, all of us in our own rights. And, you know, as far as the love and guts thing, I agree with these guys where it takes a lot of love, just our love and the love of what we do, and it takes a lot of guts to actually go out and show your stuff and be creative. And I agree with, you know, Stevie and Olson in the sense that I play a lot of music too, and it's kind of hard to get up on the stage or get up in a skate contest or even show your stuff here if you don't have a little bit of confidence. And we all go through confidence issues, you know what I mean? And then skating-wise, if you get hurt and break your bones, and then you lose confidence from that. So it's always a constant give and take, and you try to keep your physical, you know, at least for me, I'm a workout freak, so I try to keep myself in top shape. So if I do slam, I can kind of recover quicker. Or I'm hoping if I do slam, I won't slam as hard because I'm in a little bit better shape than I was when I was a kid, or even like when I was 40. You know what I mean? It's weird. I'm a 52-year-old now, and I'm back to my high school weight. I'm back to, you know, and I can't.
Me too.
But it's just kind of crazy, you know what I mean? But that's kind of like why I do what I do, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and it's adrenaline rush too. I got to say we're all adrenaline junkies in our own right. And at least for me, I mean, I love that adrenaline rush of skating. And I love the adrenaline rush too. I had to be completely honest with you, running from the cops and pulling that whole cat and mouse game in the pool situation. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what drives me a lot too. So
Yeah, for me, it's my faith. You know, I've found that it's a way to express myself and to let everybody know what I'm into and what my, you know, I guess objectives are. I think that art represents who we are at times, not just, oh, I'm a great landscaping artist or something like that. And I don't have anything against landscape artists, but, you know, I think that that's where I've really found pleasure in skateboarding more than I ever have, because now I have a purpose. Now I'm here for a reason, in that there's something special about being here. It's more, I appreciate life way more now because of the trials, you know, the tribulations, the, you know, hitting rock bottom and realizing that, you know, it's about not the money, it's about the love. And I think that, you know, through my relationship with God, I realized that love is the antidote. It's what keeps me going. It's what keeps my friends together. It keeps my family together. And for me, I think that my passions are skateboarding, you know, music, fashion, art, and it's always been those things. And I'm having a great time now being able to express myself through those channels, where before I had an ego that gave me this fear to want to like go and do things because I was such a, you know, professional skateboarder. I was going to be the best in the world, and I became that, but it just kind of like kept me, you know, from doing other things. And now I'm like, man, I want to play music. You know, I want to take my kids and go to ukulele lessons. My dad's going to send us ukes. And, you know, so now I got this whole new passion for life and to be able to express myself. And so it's through my faith that I'm doing that.
What was the question, though?
What keeps
I'm
you going?
so confused.
Oh,
Why do we keep doing what we're doing?
what
Oh,
keeps you going?
Yeah,
Yeah, mine
that's cool.
is for comments and likes.
I
And
just
as soon
started
as Instagram
unfollowing you.
goes down, I'm done with everything. Facebook, because what am I going to do? Just kidding.
Hey,
No, we do it because we love it, and we can still do it. That's why we do it. So, I don't know. Everyone has their own reasons why they do things and stuff, but like Christian said, you know, it's just our way to give back and inspire other people. I do a lot of things to inspire people and encourage people, and it makes me very happy to hear people comment saying like, "You're such a great dad," you know, "You're still skating, you got me back into skating," you know. Those comments, they mean a lot, you know. And Steve's right, it feeds our ego. But it helps keep us, you know, knowing that we're doing the right thing, because when you inspire somebody, encourage somebody to come out of their shell or do something, I think it's a good thing, you know. So to me, I think it's the encouraging and the inspiring of others. That's why I do what I do.
Really, everyone has to answer that. I do it because I love it.
Oh.
Straight. Yeah. And because I can. I pretend I can. And I think I can. I know I can. I might be able to. What? No, it's all about the love. Like they all said, love.
Same as
Love
all
and
these
guts.
guys, but I think I'll talk about skating. I mean, it's just incredible in time and history. We were all skating bowls together in the 70s and in the late 70s. And in the early 80s, it all went away. Some of us kept going, riding half pipes and street. Others started, finding other interest. And then about 2000, the laws changed. I'm not sure what happened, but then they started rebuilding pools again. And this is how we all grew up, skating in pools, skate park pools. And then it just went crazy. And the whole world is now just building, releasing 3 parks a day, it seems like. And they're really good. And and just to do skate in bowls is one of the most fun, amazing, creative things. I don't know if you came out to the session today, but we just skated up in San Luis Obispo, and all of us amongst ourselves were just saying, wow, what a great session that was. Just fun, just trying things. Some of us made things, some of us, didn't get it today.
Really going there right now. Waiting for this opportunity. Go.
But you had fun, am I right?
We had fun.
Did you have fun?
We had lots of fun, but
Okay. I
The
didn't
70s
even
guys-
try it,
the
so
70s guys were a little.
I didn't even try it,
fun.
so
We didn't bust it.
So relax over there. But yeah, just that. I mean, the pools are back, and we're back, and it's great to share it with people and the next generation as well.
This guy's like, why did I ever ask this question?
You can sit down. You can see why it's still comedy. That's the same feeling you got when you were 10, 13 years old, and it's the same feeling. You're chasing that same feeling, and when you grow older and get responsibilities, it's a fine line between maturing and losing your childlike dreams, and so that's why we still do it.
That's dismal.
Oh, shut up. How's it going, guys?
Well,
Had a stoked day skating and chilling with you guys today. Thanks for coming around. I have 3 quick questions. Will you guys be back here?
Hope so.
Yeah?
You guys have us back. We'll be
yeah,
back.
we'll be back.
Cool.
Even if you don't want us to come back.
We want you to, man.
Sal and I have something to prove. We have to make the channel, or we're not ever going
Got
really.
to, bro. Yeah, the park stays up until 10, lights and everything, dude.
No, let's go. buddy.
Yeah.
It's on.
Actually,
When
that pool was really, really good, and I'm really gonna try to see if we can maybe get a competition there. Cause
That'd be gnarly, man. Yeah. The whole park, bro. I skate street and plaza. I was born in 74, and like the only time we skated that if somebody had a half pipe, it was kind of rare, The pool thing wasn't going on in the 80s and 90s, So it was just street skating all over town and launch ramp still a little bit, and stuff. But anyways, back to my other question. Are there other skaters that are pros that are going to get involved? And for one main guy is the Gons. Gons have any interest in Love and Guts? Mark Gonzalez? Anybody know that? Yeah, Mark.
He does his own shows. Really.
Right on. Okay, I had to ask, dude.
No, of course, but Gons is the Gons.
can't get a
you know.
straight answer.
He's gone. Yeah, man. Totally. Okay, and the last question, this might be the most important question, is when and where is Olson running? For what office and what, man?
2016 president. Are you
Yeah!
kidding me?
USA! USA! USA!
I'm
Okay,
kidding.
cool, man. I love art too, you guys. Thank you guys for coming here. I've been sober for 5 years off alcohol, and I'll be 41 in November, and I love skating, dude. Skating is... It's addicting. It's gnarly. It's. I mean, you could do. I do it sometimes in my kitchen. You know. I mean, you could do it. You could do it in the dirt. You could do it anywhere, dude. I mean, surfing,
Nice.
snowboarding is gnarly too. Anything's gnarly, whatever your thing is, you know. But like skating is like you could do it on a rock. You could do it anywhere, man. It's just it's fabulous. Yeah.
Nice.
So, anyways, thank you guys. I won't take
Thank
any more
you.
time. Gnarly. Yeah.
Classic. Classic.
I think this is an amazing turnout, incredible crowd. Thank you for making the art and living your passion. And Loving Guts, I think about it as a cross-meeting point of ideas interacting, community, youth, art, and passion. I think it's an incredible opportunity to come and express yourself. Where does responsibility and form fall into place, like visual form and also personal style for you guys? And it's open to any of you.
I think responsibility is
I'll handle this one.
Okay.
I'm so kidding. Totally kidding.
I think when it comes to the art shows, you know, it's just participating and pretty much doing what's asked of us and showing up on time and just being available. You know, that's the responsible part, I think. You know, I mean, and it can go into all aspects of our life, you know, and just integrity, you know, it just kind of just showing that, you know, you're a man of your word, and, you know, we say we're going to be here, we're here, you know. That's the responsible part, I think.
I think a crazy thing about skating too is this our whole little thing here is if you want to like equate it with say like let's say you're all baseball freaks and you go see a baseball thing, you're gonna go sign, and as a baseball player is gonna like sign, you have to pay $250 to even get in. That doesn't really exist with us. We're pretty open guys. Anybody can come up and ask us any question. We'll sign pretty much anything, board, magazine. So all I'm saying is skateboarders are very open people, and they're very approachable. And I think that kind of helps relate what we do more to the public and everybody else, especially when they understand skating too. You know, there's a lot of people still afraid of skating because they still don't understand it. You know what I mean? And it's more like ignorance than anything. But at the same time, I think skateboarding in this day and age has made the whole world go around because you don't even see skating what we do. You see skateboarding everywhere. It's like on commercials, it's on TV, it's on the internet. Everywhere you go, you see people skate. So I think that kind of influence in a sense where, you know, this responsibility and integrity thing, in the sense that we all kind of like do our thing, but people still see what we are trying to do. And, you know, we do influence people, we do inspire people. But at the same time, we get inspired from people like you guys too. I'm not going to say we don't, because we do. I'd be lying, you know? So that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying skateboarders are very approachable, and they're very creative, and they're very open-minded in that respect, and that kind of like leads credence to the whole thing. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like Steve said, we're fans as well of our own industry. You know, we look up to a lot of other people that are in our own industries. So.
Great. Any other questions? Or follow up more?
I like the irresponsibility of everyone knows that I was completely on my own time back in the day, and I was going to show up late, and everyone had to deal with it. And I think that there's something unique about skateboarding. Skateboarding doesn't obey the rules. You know what I mean? We do what we want to do on our skateboards, just like we do whatever we want to do it with our art. And I think that there's something very You can't buy that. You can't understand that. You have to show up to something like this and kind of go, oh, I want to know what Steve Olson thinks, and kind of get a little bit of something from him if somebody asks him the right question. And look we're having a ball up here. We're clowning around and we're having a fun time, but we do this with each other too. So this isn't just something that we come up here and we see each other once in a while. We see each other quite often.
Yeah.
But I think that the unique thing of skateboarding is that it's not a say, I guess, a structured thing. I think that's what's so attractive. I think that's why everybody wants to know about it, because there's no pamphlet for it. There's no rule book, and I think that's the part of skateboarding and our reasons why we do or most artists even, because you look at artists, and I mean, I've been around a lot of artists throughout my life, and they are some weird characters, right? There's some strange people, but yet then there's those special people. They have some unique, passionate side to them that is very original. And then you learn something from that, and you take that, and you can aspire it and use it to be creative in your own life. And so, I think there's something to all this, what you were seeing through the Love and Guts thing. I think it's hard to put it in a box, you know what I mean? And I think that's why it's so cool.
Yeah, and it's like free form, free form, or the style as you you develop your own style as a professional skateboarder, and you learn from your teachers, and as you grow to become one, then that language, which is similar to art, becomes that part where you take responsibility and participate in that lifestyle form, right?
Agree.
Yeah.
Definitely agree on that.
I think, in a strange way, or any artist and any skateboarder, their voice in skateboarding and their voice in their art is they're in some small way trying to let everyone know or show other people, this is the way I view it, and you're open to your interpretation, but this is the way, they're almost like saying, this is the way I view skateboarding and what's connected to skateboarding. Take it or leave it, but we feel like people wouldn't make these statements unless they feel it's their responsibility to hold on to a certain type of look or style or feeling. This is what skateboarding should feel like. Other people and new groups of kids are going to go on and do other things and interpret it their own way. But Cab, for instance, or Steve, for instance, is going to stay with what they feel and believe about skateboarding and try to keep interpreting it that way. This is what I believe about it. And people will come in and out of skateboarding and go, wow, there's something really different about that. But if he didn't stay true to what he was doing, they wouldn't see that. And I think it's the same in their art. Everyone's making a statement to some extent, even if they're not real vocal about it. And it's a belief system, this is what I feel about it.
Thank you.
All
All right,
it makes
thanks.
How's it going?
Super good.
How are you?
First, want to say thank you guys for coming out here. This is an awesome thing. Thank you, Oki, John Hood, just everybody involved. This is a great thing. Thanks for bringing it up here.
Well, thanks for having us.
And then a couple questions. First of all, Mr. Caballero, I understand you recently became a grandfather. Congratulations.
That's true.
What? Nice. What's up, Gramps?
Has becoming a grandfather changed your perspective on your artwork or your skating?
Not at all. It's make me look at my daughter differently, and it's really shown me how she's grown up and matured in a way, and life goes on. It's the process of life, and I knew one day that she would have a child, and was hoping for that. It was a little sooner than I thought, but just going with it, and they just recently moved in with us a couple days ago, so I have a pretty full house now.
Well, yeah, once they're here, you can't put them back, right?
She knows where the door is. But, I have rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have rules and regulations, and she's going to have to abide by them, And I just want to present a safe environment for her and my grandchild, and what I've done with my own kids, my other two. And I'm not going to treat them any differently, But it's awesome. I like being a grandpa, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that we're still skating and still doing, like Lance said, still have this inner child outlook on life. I really believe that skateboarding is really the fountain of youth. When you hop on your skateboard, I mean, it really makes you feel like when you first picked it up, and I'm still in a punk rock band. We started a band in 1982. We were together till 85, and we're still playing. We're going to be playing in a couple weeks. And I remember our singer was a little bit shy and fearful of that. He's like, Cab, I wrote these songs in the 80s, and I was like 17 years old, and I don't feel like that anymore. And I just had to tell him, I go, you know what? When we get on stage, those 40-year-old, 50-year-old dudes watching us, as soon as we hit that first note, they're going to be 17 years old again. And I think that lightened him up a little bit, and he felt a little bit more comfortable and get on stage and reliving our childhood. So.
Well, I agree that you made it appear that skateboarding is the fountain of youth today out there. Great motor out there, great stamina. I was tired just watching.
It was hard work, I'll tell you.
It was a pleasure watching you today.
Thanks. Water helps. Tell you that. Thanks, John, for the waters.
Can I ask a question to Mr. Mountain? I noticed, from afar throughout the years, way back to the Bones Brigade days and those videos, even to today with some of your social media posts, etc., that there's a hint of comedy and just spectacular comedic timing. Have you ever considered doing anything in that type of business as far as writing or anything like that?
I did The Office for about 12 years. You don't know if you've seen that TV show, but I worked on that for a while. No, I can't do that. Stacy used to try to talk me towards that, but I like skateboarding.
Yeah, the style, the flair you put on the hand plants today, just exclamation point on the moves, look fantastic.
Thank you very much.
If I can continue.
I was a grandpa too.
Continue down the panel, Mr. Noho. I'm just wondering, what are you still involved getting out in the water and surfing? And if so, what kind of wave do you like? What kind of board do you like? If you had to put the two together, what's the perfect combination?
It's funny that you asked that question. I've been surfing a lot lately. And I got in the water. I don't know why I did. I was kind of going through a weird thing with skating. I think I was just skating the same parks or doing the same thing over and over again. And I don't know, the industry kind of drives me crazy sometimes. And then I just started surfing out at Topanga. And Topanga has like this really weird hippie kind of groove out there. And there was just guys out there with the weirdest boards, potato chips and fishes, and I was like, wow. That reminded me of skating when I was a kid, where everyone just had anything, create something in wood shop, and it was just so eclectic and weird. And so I just started surfing every day and really got back into it. And yeah, I like a point break. My buddy has a place down in Mexico. It's called Shipwrecks. And it used to be called, before the ship crashed into the point, it was called Little Rincon. And you can take away for about a quarter of a mile if the conditions are right, and yeah, that's fun.
Have you found the board yet, or are you still looking?
Oh, that's the fun part. I want to ride everything. Olson came up with the board, and I saw that, and I fell in love with that board. But then I'll go to a surf shop, and I'll go kind of go crazy because I don't know. I want a longboard, and I want a short board. I want a thruster. I want a fish. I want a quad. They all look fun, and they all have like their little differences and styles, whatever. But yeah, it's got me really motivated again to get out in the water, and it's also helped my skating too. Just putting me in a good mind space.
Good to hear.
Thank you.
Yes, stay out in the water. It's a good place to be.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen John's Vercelli yet, check it out.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay. Next question, Mr. Hosoi. I actually have a couple questions for you. Let's go with the first one, which is, I noticed your kids out there with you today. You had mentioned being around your father and getting inspiration from him and kind of being immersed in things that he was interested in. Do you, how do you feel about that happening to with your children? I mean, from what I can tell, it's kind of you look like you're getting a little stoked out there when they're pulling a new trick or something like that. So how's that feel?
It's probably the most amazing feeling next to finding my purpose here on earth, being a, believer, but, just being able to be a father and to raise them to live a full life and to have more advantage than I had. I kind of grew up kind of like a survivor where I just picked and choose whatever I wanted to do. And my dad was just like, yeah, just be careful. All right, you know what? Be cool. All right, don't get busted. You know what I mean? And I think that my kids have a little bit of an advantage because I know what's right and I know what's wrong. I have the track record to prove it, and I've done what's right and I've done what's wrong, but I've learned throughout the years, and for me to raise these kids, in a positive environment, a safe environment, and then with all the opportunities to express themselves through whether it's art, music, education, skateboarding. I mean, I'm seeing them having this passion for skateboarding that I had, and I have to contain myself, you know what I mean? When I'm like, oh, that was amazing. You know what I mean? Like slapping high fives to my homies and they're going like this, that's pretty insane. And I'm like, it's mind blowing, So for me, it's one of those almost like blessings that I get. My father was a huge supporter. He was there for me throughout. I mean, he sacrificed his whole career of art and, doing what he wanted to do to support mine. And I started my company at 17, corporation. He lived with me. We did the business. I mean, it was just what we did. It's our lives, you know what I mean? Skateboarding wasn't an occupation. It was our lives, kind of like art. And I noticed that with him, with his art. It wasn't an occupation. He did not, he didn't care whether there was money or there wasn't money. It was what he loved to do. And I think that rubbed off on me, and I just hope that all those good attributes rub off on my children, and that I can see them become everything they want to be.
Yeah, I definitely see it as a lifestyle and a passion, and I think seeing you and your kids today is a good example of that. My next question for you has to do with your past. Of course, everybody has one. We wouldn't have got where we are today without having one. Did you ever have an aha moment? This is it, a moment of clarity that you reflect on that was noticeable?
Yeah, I had a big aha moment when I was first day in prison, and I was facing 10 years. And it's always in those one moments when you're at complete rock bottom. I couldn't use my name. I couldn't pull any strings to get out of a situation that I was in, and I was in a cell. And at that moment, I was like, I'm not going to make it. 10 years? I'm 31 years old. I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison. And my wife said, I called her and I'm like, she was my girlfriend. I'm like, hey, I'm got 10 years. And she's like, I love you. We just got to trust in God. And I was like, God? I was like, I need a lawyer. I need an attorney. I need to get bail, babe. What are you talking about, right? And she's like, no, God's going to help us and go get a Bible. And I was like, what in the world? All of a sudden, all these things, my name Christian, my nickname Christ, I invented the Christ there. They're all hitting me. And I go get a Bible, never read a Bible in my whole life, 31 years old, never prayed. And I went into my room, my two-man cell, cried my eyes out, saying, God, if you get me bail, I'll do anything. I won't do drugs again. But in my heart, I knew that, I was seeking truth. And the Bible says if you'll seek for God with your whole heart, you'll find him. And that night I opened up that Bible, and it was like the scales fell off my eyes. I realized that I was created for a purpose, and there was a plan for my life. I wasn't just here to exist. And that was my aha moment. And 2 weeks later, gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ, and I spent 5 years in prison. And I always tell people, I spent 5 years in prison free for the first time in my whole life. So that was my aha moment.
Congratulations. Mr. Olson, I just have a quick question for you. Where do you find inspiration for the work that you do? And I'm sure it comes from all over. Is there anything specific? Is there a common thread between them where you get motivation?
I would just say that I get my inspiration. I'm so tripped on what Hosoi just said, in a good way. Like, I gotta take a second. But anyway, I get inspiration from everything, like what we're going through. Everything, like signage, television, the water, the rainbow, whatever. You know what I mean? That might be corny, but I get it from everywhere. From skateboarding, from surfing, from snowboarding, from motocross, from road racing, whatever it is. From the people. I mean, everything is a pretty cool palette.
Good
Just
answer.
depends what you can do with it. I like to make them think a little bit, but you can get in some shit for that, but whatever.
Thank you. Last question, I'll keep it brief. Mr. Alba, do you know how many times you attempted the channel today?
Yes.
I didn't keep track.
Okay.
Probably 30 times at least, though.
Okay, and
No.
He's making it tonight.
oh, you're making it tonight. Thank you, Mr.
I'm
Alba.
gonna skate tonight. I'm too tired.
I never tried it, so.
Yeah, good. Smart guy. Okay.
We wanted to kind of wrap it up a little bit. Is there one more question? Okay, go for it. Because they've got stuff out there that they want to
It'll be quick.
share.
So a wise man once told me, the older you get, the older old gets. And my question to you guys is, in one word, can you describe the feeling you get when you step on a board?
No. Roller coaster sensation.
That's two.
Yeah, freedom.
Aggression.
Creativeness.
And
Challenge.
Attitude, radical, gnarly. Come on. The best. That's 2 words.
Everything.
All right, greatest. All in one.
Adrenaline.
Thank you guys.
thank you.
Okay, everybody has these kind of almost serious questions, but I don't really. How would you say that your pool skills, your skills in a pool, would convert at all to more modern street skating?
Well, I can take one on the. When we used to grind in pools back in the 70s, there were no handrails or ledges. I mean, there were, but there wasn't. So I think, yeah, they did because they adapted what we were doing in pools back then to what is being done now.
I think you had to. There was a point where we had to actually totally relearn skateboarding. And late 80s, early 90s there was a whole new technique. It like matured from what these guys started to do but there was a break, and you had to basically relearn the way to do things.
And like when street skating first kind of was introduced, a lot of the street skaters were trying to do vert tricks on the flat. Like Mike Valley was trying to do inverts on the flat. And the funny thing is, me and Lance could do those inverts in a pool, so we wanted to try to do the inverts on the flat too, see if we could do it. So we were kind of conforming to that new type of skating as well, you know, to, like I said, go with the flow and not crash against it and go against it, you know. And I think a lot of the vert skaters in the late 80s, they didn't make that transition. They didn't want to. You know, they were just kind of stuck in what they loved and felt like they wanted to do on a skateboard. And there was this new group of kids coming in with a new style of skateboarding, and some went with it. You know, me and Lance tried. You know, we would go back and forth arguing to see, you know, if we could try to ride one board on street, in ramps and pools, and we would just be so adamant that's like, I know this is possible. I know we can just carry one board. And it took years for us to really figure out that it's two separate boards.
The reality of it is the basis of pool skating is pumping and keeping your speed and finding lines, and the basis of street skating is ollie. And now kids start skateboarding with both those in front of them, but everyone here skated for 10 years before the actual mechanics of the ollie came. So we had to relearn that after we had already skated for 10 years, and which is a really, at that point, a difficult thing to do, because you learn everything when you're 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 20. Yeah, I mean, and then everyone started skating switch stance, and we gave up. Cab didn't give up. So the answer is no, we can't do it.
Okay, so we want to kind of wrap it up, and we've got another hour and a half or so of the actual show for the guys and gals to get back over to their tables and their work, and you can discuss it with them out there with their art. I again want to thank the distinguished panel here and the artists that were invited. We have so many great artists here that were invited to be a part of this, and we're very thankful for them to be here. The Morris B. Squire Foundation was a huge supporter of this show. They're out of Santa Barbara, and they're about outreach. And so I want to give a big shout out to them and Steve Lavanino, our supervisor, with all the words in the press and the media that's really spent a lot of time on that, and they have been behind us 100%, not even quivering about it. So thanks to them and their support, and you know, and for Mr. Olson with his piece, it is here. So if you've been looking for it, it's here. Awesome. It's, you know, and everybody else will be here to talk about their work. Okay, so I think we're good. Are we good? Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Good times, man.
Yeah.
I was going to ask what favorite way to show.
I know for a fact that two of them have. Yeah. Hey, remember? Yeah. Jamie's girlfriend. Yes.